Hello everyone, this is Kyle from Refinery Pass. I wanted to share a clip from a safety course we created. If you want to take the full course and receive a certificate of completion, you can use the link in the description to find the course on our website. If you like the course but need something a little more custom created for you, send me an email at kyle@refinerypass.com. Hope you enjoy this little sample.
So with that in mind, if you're going to be doing welding work, you need to make sure that the location's been authorized by management for a welding activity, and that all required safety procedures are being followed before you begin. Hot work permits are especially important when welding or cutting must be performed in confined spaces. These confined spaces include limited access structures, such as tanks, storage bins, vaults, manholes, or tunnels. Working safely in confined spaces is an important subject that OSHA addresses with standards for both general industry and construction. Primary reason for this is that confined spaces can contain dangerous machinery, toxic atmospheres, explosive gases, and other hazards that have previously been involved in many worker deaths. Welding in these spaces can also involve additional hazards, including exceptionally high heat, exposure to high-voltage electricity, and an increased risk of igniting a fire or explosion. Before welding or cutting in a confined space, you need to understand the special hazards involved and how to avoid them. If you have any questions about a particular designated or on-site welding location, always talk to your supervisor to learn more. Now that we've discussed some potential welding hazards in designated areas, let's talk about a specific safety practice when welding: fire prevention. Anything that can burn, such as wood, paper, or vapors from paint, solvents, or other chemicals, is a potential fire hazard when it's in an area where welding or cutting is being performed. Wherever you weld, the area must be made fire safe before you light a torch or strike an arc. To do this, you should remove flammable materials from the location or protect them from ignition sources like flying sparks. High heat can start fires and even cause aerosol cans to rupture. However, sparks are the leading cause of welding-related fires and explosions. Sparks can fly a long distance, so when you're removing fire hazards from the area, you should use the 35-foot rule. Combustible and flammable materials should be moved at least 35 feet away from wherever welding or cutting occurs. Any dust or litter that may be lying on the floor should also be swept at least 35 feet away. Finally, any flammable or combustible materials that cannot be removed should be protected by welding screens, curtains, or fire blankets made of heat-resistant material. Screens and curtains can also protect other people who are in the area from welding, glare, and radiant energy hazards. And importantly, you should position these shields so they don't interfere with the airflow in the area. Sometimes there are combustible materials that just cannot be moved. One example is a wooden floor. If there's a wooden floor in your welding area, wet it with water or cover it with damp sand or heat-resistant blankets before you begin welding.